Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Yes, we are live. Welcome. Good afternoon to everybody. Yes, your number one real estate doctor. Hope you are doing good. Hope you are doing good. Yeah, welcome. I can see you. All right. Thank you for joining. We'll be starting right away. We'll be starting right away. Thank you very much. Um, Oh, great. Awesome, awesome. Welcome, everyone. Um, Thank you all for joining this. I really appreciate, and I believe you are going to actually, and that's a promise to enjoy this session because the topic we are discussing about today is what everybody is involved in one way or the other. Nobody can do without real estate, either as a tenant or as a landlord. Anywhere you work is actually on the land. So one way or the other, you are involved in real estate. And today we are discussing about real estate transaction processes and also property documentation, the right way to go about it. It's no news that a lot of Nigerians, both home and abroad, have passed through the painted line of real estate that is actually bad. And we are going to try as much as possible to try to bring clarity into what may cause that and how you can go about it in a proper way. Thankfully, our guest is already in the house. So, in a few moments, I'm going to invite our guest to come in and is going to contribute. I tell you, you are going to enjoy this session. For those that are going to be joining after, please, once you join, just let us start having your question. You can start dropping your questions. Any question you have, start dropping it so that after our guest finish speaking, we can address the question. So with no further ado, let me um, introduce our guest to the house. All right. All right. So our guest today on real estate untangled with real estate doctor, I have today with me barrister Ikomola Lekan Esquire. Barrister Lekan is a consistent performer who has the ability of multitasking on assignments while delivering on set targets. Uh, he has worked in several organizations and presently is the managing partner at ABL Partners LP, which stands for Ayodeji Babajide Lekan Partners Legal Practitioner, with his core interest is in dispute resolution, real estate, intellectual property, and family law. So he will be the one simply taking the journey of how to go about real estate the right way. Welcome, sir. Can you hear me, barrister? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you, but the network is not so clear, but I can hear you. I think I can manage.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you very much for granting our request. So today we are definitely going to
You're
dive
welcome, sir.
of. I know you are a very busy man, and we have to make it very short so that you can also attend to other activities. So, being a realtor myself for over 10 years, I've been dealing with several issues that have to do with real estate transactions. And the reason why I actually brought this topic is for us to try as much as possible to educate and also bring to view of how real estate transactions should actually be. If I may ask, sir, as a lawyer, what is the necessary step someone who wants to go into real estate transactions should take?
Okay, the necessary steps. So I'll be speaking from the point of view of when advising a buyer of either landed property, be it fertile land, building, flats, or whatnot, right? So
Yeah.
if you've identified the land you want to buy, for example, to the first thing that is required is for you to be sure that the land is free from all sorts of, permit me to use the word wahala or encumbrance, right? So first of all, you identify the land, physical inspection, right? You try to know who the owners of the property is or are, as the case may be. You try to know what the root of title is, how the owner became vested with the title in the first place. Was it a family land? Was it inherited? Did he buy from someone else? His predecessor in title? Was it a direct allocation from the government? Was it from a real estate company? And all whatnot. Physical inspection, you do due diligence where necessary, due diligence by, you start with the inspection, you go to the lands registry to be sure that the land is free from any form of adverse title or encumbrance. You also go to the Surveyor General's office to be sure that the land does not fall within government acquisition. For example, it may also be necessary for you to conduct search or searches at the High Court of Lagos State, for example, if the land you want to buy is in Lagos State, to be sure that there is no lease pendants, that is, there is no pending litigation on the land. And to also be necessary for you to try as much as possible to interact with people in the locality where the land or property is located. Because there are times where, some people tell you this land is free, is good, is that. Our fathers owned it from 1700 and all whatnot. But then you start hearing different stories here and there. So all these things, depending on the circumstances, is required for you to do your due diligence before you say you want to buy any property or any land.
All right, thank you very much. You just mentioned due diligence now, and from my understanding, due diligence has been a word that a lot of people always use when it comes to real estate transaction. But what actually does due diligence mean?
Due diligence, breaking it down, is more like it's like doing your homework, doing your assignment to be sure that what you are buying, you are not buying problem. To be sure that the person you are buying from is who he says he is. If someone tells you I'm the owner of the land, you have to be sure you are not taking his word just for it. Even if you know the person is a family friend, your best friend, your father, your mother. Yes, there is that trust that comes with all those kind of relationships, but it's still necessary for you to, engage an independent person, a third party who would look at it objectively. The person who would help you ascertain that this person is actually the owner. This person, what they've told you regarding the property or regarding the land is as it is. Nothing is amiss. They are not hiding anything from you, because you are buying land today. A lot of people are only interested in the money they want to collect from you. And it's very easy to collect money from somebody who wants to buy, but it's very difficult to get the money back when you eventually find out afterwards that what you have bought should not have, the person who sold to you was not even eligible to sell in the first place. So due diligence is more or less doing your homework, doing your findings, and to be sure that you have peace of mind even before you actually part away with your hard-earned money. And it's advisable it's done before and not after payment or at the time of payment, before. Although it's a continuous process up to the time of signing, but then it starts before your money goes to the seller of the property or the land, as the case may be.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. If due diligence is to be carried out by a third party, who is this third party? Who should be this third party should be? If it should be carried by
Oh,
somebody from Mr. A wants to buy property from Mr. B. So there must be a third party. Who should actually be this third party? Is it a lawyer? Is it a surveyor? Is it a town planner? Is it a realtor? Who exactly fits that position?
okay. Because I'm a lawyer, obviously I'm going to tell you a lawyer should be the independent third party, and that is right and correct because now you engage a lawyer by virtue of his training and his professional calling. Now, you've also mentioned certain other people, about two other people, the surveyor and a realtor. Now, the realtor comes in from my own knowledge. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so you've also mentioned the surveyor and the realtor. So the realtor most times identifies the land, I mean, links a buyer, a prospective buyer with the owner of the land. Now, when you engage a lawyer, a realtor, sometimes some realtors go the extra mile. I can say that for you by trying to make some inquiries. Now, after making some inquiries as to location and all whatnot, then it's advisable for the buyer to engage a lawyer to come in at that point. Now, when the lawyer comes in, the lawyer now requests for the necessary documents, the names of the buyer and seller, the title document, what kind of title document he has, whether it's a C of O, a property that has government consent, or whether it's a registered survey. Now, at that point, if it's a registered survey, for example, and nothing more, the lawyer would have to get in touch with a registered surveyor who would assist in confirming from the Surveyor General's office to show that the property or the land about to be bought, it does not fall within government acquisition or government has no plan for it. That way, so the lawyer more or less acts as an interfacer between the buyer and the surveyor. It's part of the due diligence work. Now, the lawyer also goes to the land registry to confirm that the registered title, if at all, where the owner claims that the title is registered, and the title is registered at Alausa, we call it Alausa, that's the land registry in Alausa, and also goes to the land. Sometimes it's very necessary to go to the High Court of Lagos State, for example. I keep using Lagos State because this is my jurisdiction, to find out whether there are possible, there are litigation and all whatnot, because it's easy to part with your money and to now discover that what you've bought is litigation, and then you end up 10, 15, 20 years fighting one battle that could have been avoided by engaging a lawyer, a surveyor, and the realtor. The surveyor will also come in, obviously, at the point when you've decided to buy the land, or before you buy, rather, to take the coordinates on the land to be sure that the identity and the location that the owner is selling to you actually tallies with what is in the government's record at the Surveyor General's office and all whatnot. Yes, so a lawyer, a surveyor, and the realtor, yes, will come in handy for your due diligence.
As you have said it now, I think it's getting more clearer. So I think it's like a typical the lawyer is involved, as well as the surveyor. They need each other to make this due diligence work, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I would like to ask if due diligence when it comes to real estate transaction, a work that all lawyers can do, or we have lawyers that are specific in doing real estate transactions. Because in some places, we have property lawyers who their own work is actually in property. While we have some lawyers that are dealing with criminal and that sort. So, do we have lawyers that are basically property lawyers?
The line is not so clear, but I think maybe what your question is pointing at to whether it's any lawyer that can be involved in real estate transaction, right, or advice? My answer to that is no. It's not just any lawyer, and the reason for that is in our profession, right? There are diverse areas, different areas of practice, core practice areas. Now, some people intentionally, after law school, for example, have a sense of, oh, this is what I want to do. After they've been called to the Nigerian bar to practice as lawyers, right? I want to go into property law, real estate. I want to do intellectual property law. I want to be a litigator, for example, or a corporate commercial lawyer, as the case may be. While some people, because they still need to discover themselves along the line, may end up in a firm where all what they do is purely company secretarial duties, for example, and they grow through the ranks there. Some people, oil and gas law and all, while some may be lucky enough, at least in our situation, to be in a law firm where what they do.
Oh, I think the line is breaking.
Where what they do it is real estate transaction and all whatnot. Now, to answer your question specifically, right? Before you can say you qualify to be a property lawyer, right, or a real estate transaction lawyer, it comes with experience. You don't just come out of law school and say, I am qualified. Yes, you're qualified to practice as a lawyer, yes. But then again, you build this experience you have to start from somewhere, either through a mentor, a senior colleague in a law firm where you work, or if you decide that you want to open shop, quote and unquote, open your own firm, by gradually, you engage in one transaction, then another and another. So it's the experience you build over the years from these transactions that you may come out and tell the world and say, you know what, I am a real estate practicing lawyer. So it comes with practice before you can, if you want to tag yourself as such. I hope I've been able to answer your question, sir.
Yes, perfectly understood. Because there is always this issue that not all lawyers go into property transactions, but now you have actually clarified it. Because there are some
although let me also come in there. Forgive me, sir, if I may also come in there. Though by virtue of our training at the law school, in university and at the law school, we were taught the basics of conveyancing, real estate practice and all that. We are all taught, so we have basic knowledge of everything. But like I said, when you come out, you still need that practical knowledge. You must have done it consistently on a consistent basis for you to say, not one day, maybe you had one transaction today, then your next transaction is probably in another 5 years. I mean, to be foolhardy to really classify yourself or categorize yourself as a real estate lawyer for that purpose, using that example.
Okay. Sir, is there any certification given to people that go into special areas in your industry? Maybe a property lawyer has his own special certificate or license. Is it in that aspect?
No, by virtue of your calling as a lawyer, you are qualified. Let's not get it wrong. You are qualified. You are qualified. But with every professional field or industry, as doctors, accountants, bankers, name any professional field, it is the experience you gather. It is what you do on a daily basis that adds up, it piles up, it piles up. So the fact that you've been called to the bar and you've been certified by the Council of Legal Education, you've been called to the Nigerian bar, it's an automatic meal ticket to practice. You can practice as a real estate lawyer, like you can do real estate transaction. But in actual practice, in like practically speaking, daily basis, right? You need to actually, it's not a question of, you're working as an in-house lawyer, let's say in an oil company. That's where you've been all your years. And let's say for some reason you worked there for 15 years. That's all you do. You advise in-house. Then you decide you want to open your own law firm. Yes, you'll be able to advise your client on a transaction, real estate transaction, but then where now this is where we lawyers become in handy for ourselves. You call a colleague who has vast experience, who you know has been doing this on a daily basis. Yes, you can do it by virtue of your training, but then you now call on a colleague, Mr. Lagbaja, Learning Senior, I know you do this, and this. Please, can you put me through certain things? I have done this and that. So you call on your friends who have that practical knowledge over the years. So notwithstanding that you're qualified from the get-go, but that practical knowledge, practical know-how that you gathered from having advised clients from, on a daily basis or on a regular basis counts a lot. So you don't need any particular certification to say, take this certificate, you are now qualified to be a real estate lawyer. No. In fact, once you come out of law school, you are qualified. But it's always advisable you seek superior guidance and knowledge from those who have been doing it before you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Barrister. As you analyze the importance and the reason why we need lawyers in real estate transactions, it helps me to, based on my interaction with a lot of clients, some clients don't see the need for them to have lawyers. What do you think could be a compromise? Some clients tell you that I don't have this more, I'll buy land, I'll pay for this, pay for that, and I'll still have to pay lawyers to help me do due diligence. Some clients don't see it as something that is necessary. Why do you always happen?
I would, there are different reasons really, but I would want to sum it up under one general umbrella, and that would be, I might be wrong, some of my colleagues might have other opinions. I mean, they say two lawyers, three opinions. I would say is the orientation of we Nigerians, right? Now, they are educated people, they are semi-educated ones, and they are also the uneducated ones. Now, wanting to buy a property or owning property does not discriminate whether you are educated, not educated, semi-educated, or whatnot. So you find that across board, even the educated ones will tell you, after all, I know what is required. I can always go to Google to get some form of template or the other and all whatnot. Now, then you get advice from, oh, okay, I know this person. The person who is selling is my father's friend or is my mother's, my close family person. I know the history of the land. Now, so, and also the fact that people tend to discount the work of lawyers. After all, I mean, I'm sure you must have heard of this slogan, waiting lawyers, they do self. Right? Is it not just to, is it not just to copy and paste? Is it not just a one-page document or a three-page document or four-page document? Whereas not minding the fact that this person actually spent quite a number of years in acquiring that knowledge. I mean, the knowledge this lawyer is putting to bear, it's not the 3 sheets of paper or 4 or 5 or 6 pages of document. No, it's what is here upstairs, the intellectual capacity and intellectual competence that's coming to play. You can't put value to it. It's not tangible. It's not like your bread and butter that you can put value to. So to answer your question, really, people tend to, they want to save money, right? They say, after all, I'm buying from a trusted family member or from my community, so I know the history. Then people do not see value. They can't really ascribe value to what the lawyer is bringing to bear. So discounting the importance of that lawyer. So all that, I would say, comes under our orientation, and it comes across board. The uneducated, the semi-literate, as well as the educated ones. You'll be surprised that they tell you this. And the one that's shocking is a lot of them want to save costs, money. The problem is, yes, you might actually save costs, legal fees at that point. But when you now enter trouble, then the first person you remember is that lawyer that you're trying to avoid this cost in the first place. Penny wise, pound foolish. Yes, it's easy for a non-lawyer to come here to say, oh, it's because I'm a lawyer and I'm speaking this way. But then again, Would you want to go for surgery, for example, without consulting a doctor? I don't know if that analogy is right, for example. So let me not talk too much on that. I hope I've been able to answer your question, sir.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. Please, if you have questions, please you can drop it in the comment section so that we can always address those questions. Thank you very much, everyone joining us today. I really appreciate for the few minutes we've been discussing with Ike Molale Fire. It has been a wonderful time, and I believe we've been getting information that you can easily use in your next property transaction. Okay, thank you very much, Barrister. Now, being a realtor myself and knowing the various reasons why clients want to buy property, because clients do have different ways of buying property. Having signified interest in buying a property and doing the physical inspection, the due diligence, and to the point of making payments. After making payment, we believe that there are some documents that the vendor will keep with the buyer, like the contract of sale, the deed of assignment, uh, allocation letter, invoice, and all the likes. As a lawyer, what are the necessary documents a buyer needs to retrieve from anybody is buying, be it company, be it individual or family? What are the necessary documents we need to retrieve?
Okay, so the documents are
Hello, sir. Hello. 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 Okay. I think that's the network there. Okay. Just give us some few minutes and I start with us back.
this. Okay, so the document you've mentioned some of those documents are right. So
Yes.
the documents you would need are the contract of sale. Now that is what evidences that a sale transaction has taken place, right? I am buying, you are selling. It states the terms and
Okay.
conditions and all whatnot. Then the deed of assignment, then a receipt, very important. Whether you're buying from an individual, a family, a community, or a real estate company is very
Okay. That's it. Oof. We are having network issues here. Um, Network issues. All right. Maybe I'll have to, while we wait for the network to come back, please kindly drop your questions. Thank you once again for being here. I hope you are getting value. If you are getting value, you are getting value. Please let us I think we are having some network issues here, but um, hopefully we've heard some of this from our lawyer. He made mention that if you are to get a property, you should worry about that. I think the barrister is having some work. Once again, the lawyer just called me now that actually his phone is acting up, that maybe overheating. But be it as it may, we have actually touched on some of the very important and cogent points we want to address when it comes to property acquisition. As he said earlier on, that if you are to go into any property transaction, you need to first of all do your due diligence. I itemize it from you going first of all to the site to do what we call physical inspection. Physical inspection is very, very important because it is when you visit the site physically that you will understand the location where the property is in case of land or house. You will also understand the topography of the environment or the land in question. Maybe it is dry, maybe it is swampy, maybe it is waterlogged, because it's until you do physical inspection that you know this, and then to confirm maybe what the buyer or the realtor is telling you is actually right. So you need to do what we call physical inspection. And while doing physical inspection, you should go, as I always advise, that go on physical inspection with your own surveyor. Never, ever, ever go into real estate transaction at the inception of wanting to buy a property to succumb to using